Welcome. Let's start with an important section on political science, and that is judiciary. In the judiciary, we have already discussed about Supreme Court, High Court. Now moving to the lower courts, those are called as subordinate courts. So what happens under the subordinate court? Under the subordinate court, we say these are the courts which are at district level or below, and these can actually be classified into three categories: civil courts, criminal courts and revenue courts. We'll understand these one by one. So to have an overview, civil court deal with civil cases, marriage, divorce, will, guardianship are some examples. Criminal court deal with cases like murder, dacoit, robbery. So those are criminal cases. And then revenue, which deals with property transactions and land, right? So these are the three important cases that we would understand. Now, as we have gone through Supreme Court, we have gone through High Court, subordinate court also offers decision, but there is always a term that you must be familiar with, and that is pendency in the cases. Now, what is pendency? Pendency is actually the average time which is taken by the court to dispose the case. That means the case is taken up and is finally getting done. So that is what is called as pendency. Now, this pendency varies for High Court for around 3 years, for Supreme Court for around 13 years, and for subordinate courts around 6 years. Now, there have been a new term which is Lok Adalat. That concept started first in 1982 in Junagadh in Gujarat, and later on in 1985 it became popular from Delhi. So these Lok Adalats settle the disputes besides taking them onto the subordinate court. So Lok Adalats actually relieve the pressure on the subordinate court, but still subordinate court, due to large number of cases, have a pendency period higher than High Court, which is around 6 years. For High Court it's around 3 years, for subordinate court it is around 6 years. Important to note. Then we have another type of court which is known as Family Court. Now, this Family Court Act was passed in 1984, and this talks about settlements only related to family disputes, marriage, and these are only in the cities which have a population of 10 lakh and above. So only with a city population of 10 lakh and above you would see family courts, and one family court would be seen in every district of every state and every union territory. So that's about the family court. So let's start with each of these one by one. The first one that we would understand today is the civil court. Now, civil court, there is a district judge. Followed by the district judge, there is additional district judge and the other judges. So the district judge is the highest civil court in the district. Now, the pays and the allowances of the district judge and the judges of the civil court are decided by the state time to time, and they are graded from the lowest level to the district level courts. Right? There is an additional district judge which is again appointed by the governor in consultation with the chief justice and other judges of High Court, and then the other judges and magistrates of the civil court are appointed by State Public Service Commission, mainly from the state judicial services, who actually come out by passing a competitive examination, which is the judicial service examination of the respective state. Now, what are the cases that civil court deal with? We already said it deals with monetary transactions, arbitrations, marriage, divorce, will, guardianship, sometimes with land and property, right? So what is the structure of the court? Let's understand that. So there is a court of district judge. This court of district judge, understand this very, very carefully. This court of district judge is the highest court of the district, and it has two segments, the civil as well as the criminal. The civil judge is known as the district judge. The criminal judge is known as the sessions judge. Clear? In some cases, there is an additional district judge appointed, and for criminal cases, there is an additional session judge who is appointed. Now, the additional district judge who is appointed is in consultation with the governor, the chief justice of the High Court, and the other judges of the High Court, not the chief justice of the Supreme Court, right? So it's the chief justice of the High Court here in the same state in which the district lies, right? And then we have the important thing for the district judge. He or she has to be an advocate for minimum 7 years standing. So minimum 7 years standing is the criteria to be eligible for district judge, or has to be an officer in judicial services of either the state or the union. So two options, either advocate for minimum 7 years or being a judicial officer as a part of judicial services either at a state or at the center. Now, what are the things that are taken into account under a civil code? The rules for transfer, the leaves, the terms, and the conditions of the civil district judge as well as the additional district judge is formulated based on the high court concerned. So whatever high court, whatever state it falls in, based on the guidelines given by them, the rules for the transfer, leave, terms and conditions for district judge as well as additional